Welcome, everybody, to the Loud and Drunk Podcast, the one podcast that dares to proclaim, drink that in a small town, see how drunk you get there.
God, it's like an angel just came in and started singing to us.
I am your lead singer, Dan, joined as always by the drummer, Moses. Do you have a song that proclaims drinking in a small town?
I get drunk in a small town.
Wow.
I've been served in a small town. I'll offend anyone in this small town.
Justin, sir.
I'm the bassist. I don't say shit. I just serve looks. Glad to be here, and I'll do my job as best I can.
Well, you always need a bassist.
That is
And if
true.
you're going to be a bassist, then I'm going to insist that you're a Getty Lay.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take it.
I play the electric violin, and my name is Alabaster Black.
You're not Jonathan Dinklage?
No, I'm far too tall.
Jonathan Dinklage is a...
I'm not Jonathan Dinklage.
This is
and
everything-
I'm tired of people saying that.
This is everything Peter was talking about.
Who's Peter?
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, Peter Dinklage.
You can just call me Alabaster.
I could.
We're black.
Lesai.
And gentlemen, we actually have our first reoccurring guest on the show. Please welcome back Ed.
Oh, so nice we brought him back twice.
Thanks for having me, and I guess that makes me the groupie. So who am I sleeping with?
Who better? Who better?
It's
It's
Moses.
a collective.
Moses is who you're
We
sleeping
do it
with.
all at once.
Oh, Jesus.
It was a foursome and nobody slept.
So, yeah. Ed, welcome back, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no.
You guys have no friends.
No, we don't.
No question as to why.
I don't get it either.
Don't give away our secrets.
But there is one secret that we
boy.
can share with the audience.
Yes.
You should support this podcast by supporting our sponsor. Summer is here, and God, is it here. And the time is right for stopping by TrueJersey.com. From t-shirts, hats, and hoodies, True Jersey will show off your local pride like no other. And now, Loud and Drunk listeners can save 10% off their first order. Just go to TrueJersey.com and enter the code LOUD at the checkout to save 10%. True Jersey, stay true. And again, thank you to True Jersey for sponsoring the program.
Yeah, we love those guys. They're awesome. Thank you very much.
I don't believe in the internet, so I'm not sure.
You don't believe that it's a thing, or like?
Well, I
can
know
assure you it
that,
is.
it's a fabrication of the government. That's one thing.
There-
But I also don't believe that, the illusion that they create to make us believe that the internet is real. I don't think that we should support it. That said, I'm not going to say anything bad about the sponsor. So please go on the fake internet and purchase fake goods from there, I guess, is what we're talking
Okay,
about.
let's just jump in here real quick. If you go to TrueJersey.com and enter the
not
promo
real.
code LOUD, you will get 10% off real
Not
products. Please stop undermining this. Sorry.
Well, he's just undermining the existence of the internet.
You know what, Alabaster? You need to try that on a different podcast and see how far it gets.
all right. I'm just trying to have a good time, guys.
I'm kind of buying into what he's selling, and how are people listening to us?
I thought
if
that we
don't
were
have
doing an
internet?
analog podcast. I didn't know
Analog?
this was. Yeah, I didn't know this was going to be a digital thing.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, I got a vacuum tube out in the truck. I'll just come right in and shove it up your ass. We'll see how analog you like
That
it.
sounds nice. Do I have to pay anything for that, or
No, first one's free.
Let's talk after the show.
Yeah, you
You
got
can
it.
continue listening to us on OnlyFans.
I am not making that account.
No. We already asked way too much from producer, host, and professional singer Dan.
It sounds like
Let's
that's
talk about that vacuum.
where we're
hose,
going.
though.
Yeah. Do you think it'll make a marshmallow bigger?
What? I don't know what that means, but I'm interested in finding out.
You ever put a marshmallow in a microwave?
No.
You know
do
what
it.
you
Yeah,
should
give it a
try,
shot.
though? Subscribing to this podcast.
Yes.
We are on Spotify, Apple, and Google, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. We are also on YouTube and Rumble, so be sure to smash that like button, leave us a comment, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channels. Also, if you're going to watch us on YouTube, watch the whole video. Really bump up our average view rating. That way, you actually can see us on the algorithm. So
Yeah, you don't
running
even
in the
have to
background,
actually
really.
watch
Yeah.
it. You could just like put it on in the background.
Yeah, you just put it in the background. Exactly.
yeah,
Doing us a
exactly.
favor.
Just treat it like a normal podcast.
The
Like,
dulcet tones of our voice to lull you to sleep.
Dulcet
I would love
tunes of our
that. I could-
voice.
any benefit that I can get as far as that goes, I'm way into it.
well, my velvety baritone will obviously soothe them to sleep.
I
Oh,
noticed
oh.
that. Yeah.
It's
I use
Very
snoozeberries. I've been using snoozeberries. They upset my stomach, but I fall asleep. So
I'm going to be honest
complacently.
with you, Moses. I feel like I've heard you say snoozeberries like 5 times this week
just
so
keeps
far. Are you just
talking
obsessed
about
with
it?
snoozeberries?
He just
I
really
kinda
wants
am.
to talk about snoozeberries, and no one is responding to him.
It's a better,
So
it's a better
like-
tasting edible than what
I
I'm
can
used
no
to.
longer let it fly.
Yeah, you ignore him for the first 10 times, and he just keeps mentioning it. It's like,
I wanna
man,
get- guys,
I got so much going on.
You guys
dot,
can-
dot.
You guys can get in on the ground level here,
Yeah.
and snoozeberries is where it's at.
This is
because-
that upside down pyramid that you were talking about?
Yeah, because we got to balance it.
You know where you can get in on the ground floor, and it's not a pyramid scheme, on our social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, check us out on Locals. We're at loudanddrunk.locals.com and on Patreon at patreon.com/loudanddrunk.
I feel like it is a pyramid scheme.
Just let him guide us. Let him guide us.
Can we
Yeah, yeah,
can we
yeah.
try to make money without actually discrediting ourselves?
Go ahead.
So, gentlemen, I've said this before on the podcast. I tore my labrum, and I still haven't gotten an answer. Thank you, VA.
Yeah.
On whether I need surgery or not, because they're really just not paying attention to whether I exist. And so that got me thinking about interesting injury stories. I know we got one with Moses, because Justin and I had to deal with
yes.
that one glorious, glorious evening.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I was the one who almost caught you.
So
What delightful
we're just-
foreshadowing.
We're just talking about your failure then. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I guess we're going to have to replace you on this podcast. I figured I'd open up the floor and we can talk about interesting stories about us getting hurt, injuries, ailments, anything of that nature. Maybe we're talking about, potential surgeries that we've been avoiding for the longest time because who wants to get surgery? It sucks.
Yeah.
I enjoy surgery.
You would.
What does that even mean?
We have our esteemed guest back again. Ed, always a pleasure. You're a man about the world. You got any fun stories about fun or horrific injuries that you've done to yourself or anything of the sort?
I do have one.
Okay.
It was pretty much the result of cutting my hand on a pruning saw,
Oh,
the back of my left hand.
nice.
Now, I'm usually hurting myself to some degree, and I usually take care of myself. But
Yeah.
this time, I held up my hand, and my finger wasn't working. I called
Yeah.
my significant other, and she first said, "Are you bleeding in the kitchen?" To which I said,
Well, priorities.
Will I have to clean this up?
I did clean it up. And then she told me to go to the urgent care.
Order of operations, of course.
So after I was done cleaning, about 30 minutes, I went to the urgent care, and this was during COVID.
Oh, shit.
I walk up to the door, and they don't let you in. There's a
Yep.
buzzer, and they say, okay, you need to have your ID and your insurance card.
They did the same thing to me at T-Mobile.
So that was in my left pocket in my wallet, and my left hand was injured.
Yeah.
So I had to, in the front door, and I'm bleeding all over the place.
Of course.
Stick my hand into my left pocket, pull out my wallet, drop everything over the floor because my finger's not working, and then stand there,
Right.
bleeding.
Right.
Somebody finally came out, got me in there. They look at me. I'm bleeding the whole time. This itty bitty little Asian lady comes out and goes, "Well, you should have gone to the hospital." Like, I've been here for an hour.
Right. As
Why
you can
even-
tell by the diameter of the blood pool beneath me.
I am confused to why we even have urgent care if we also have ERs.
Because the ER sucks. That's why.
Urgent care.
been to one of
if you
those
don't-
urgent cares?
No, urgent care is there. Like, I use urgent care because I don't have a primary care physician. I very much should. But, I'm getting my my annual sinus infection. I'm going to go over to the urgent care because I know they'll give me antibiotics with very little interaction.
Basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the wait is forever, isn't it?
The wait at the ER is many hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but at least you're actually you have the potential to get actual help at the ER more so than you are
Well,
at urgent
listen,
care.
if your body mass of blood is quickly depleting.
Yeah. You're in borrowed time.
No, I've been in that boat before.
But no, Ed, please continue on with your story.
That was pretty much most of the story. The only fun part of that is that when they picked up all my bloody stuff, they put it in like a little tray.
Yes.
And the lady, when she was checking me out, took off her the rubber gloves and put them in the tray with my wallet and my ID and my keys.
Right.
And they said, well, you got to go bring yourself to the hospital.
Did they throw it in a bag or something?
No, it was right in the tray.
You had to collect these items and put them in your
Collect your
pocket,
shit.
You don't need these weird tchotchkes anymore, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had the audacity to say, can somebody help at least bring the stuff to my car? I just need my keys to get there. And like, no. Pretty much no. And then the lady left. And I'm there in the room with my tray of bloody stuff.
Right. Oh,
Well, that's the time that you think about what you've done.
so you're down a hand. They give you a thing of stuff to carry.
Yeah.
And God bless. God bless.
They
God
took
bless the
everything
system.
that you were carrying out of you, and we're like, no, put it back.
I took it all. I kind of folded up the bottom of my shirt so I can carry it almost like a little papoose.
Oh, nice.
All soaked with blood. And that's how I brought myself to the emergency room, who saw me right away.
Oh, no, of course.
And then
fair
we're like
enough.
looking at me
That's-
like, wow,
that's
they
not
didn't even
bad.
close you up.
It's like a paint truck where it all went wrong.
Yeah,
There's a trail of red behind a fucking pickup.
Got me out of work for a couple days. So
I mean,
good.
that's
Something to be said.
That's a blessing
Silver
sometimes.
linings.
Silver linings.
Look at the
What
bright
ended up,
side.
actually, did you any tendon damage or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I
Or-
severed the tendon on 2 fingers.
Gotcha.
Well, I severed all the tendon on 1 finger and a small part on the other one. Mm-hmm. You needed surgery, PT, but I mean, the physical therapy was a joke, really. I mean, you're like squeezing clay and like,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I milked it.
Yeah.
For as long as I could.
Absolutely.
Wasn't milking part of it?
Yes, I had to milk a cow. It was great. It was
Oh, it's
fantastic.
good for the hand.
It's about being
It's a
productive.
very
while you're in
traditional
recovery.
rehab.
And they let you keep the milk. It's fantastic.
Hell, it's awesome.
Did you
Awesome.
make butter out of the milk? You should have.
No,
No.
I did not. Lost opportunity.
Miss.
I love that Moses is asking us about like casually eating.
He's going to cut his hand later.
He actually like asked that question and then immediately spaced out.
You should have seen the small temper tantrum.
I don't care about the answer. I just
Obviously,
I care
we're
about the
not
question.
quite a visual medium yet, so please donate.
Yeah.
But
He's just
need to
eating
see-
snacks.
you need to see this.
the temper tantrum he had when he realized that the bag of Muddy Buddies was making crinkly noises. And he couldn't get his sugary snack out without most likely being screamed at by at least one person in this room.
I don't even know where these Muddy Buddies came from because I didn't bring them.
Nicolette bought those, and they're not yours. Just to be clear, those do belong to someone else.
My stomach begs to differ.
Okay, fair enough.
It'd be
yeah.
easier to get into the bag.
You
if
also
had
are a
knife, Moses.
diabetic.
Yes,
so you
yes,
shouldn't be
you
eating
are.
those. Yeah.
You can't. That's not your decision. You can't
Freedom,
just,
baby.
You can't just
Absolutely.
decide that I'm a diabetic. That's up to me
And God.
and God.
Yeah.
All right,
Should
so-
you even be eating those?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, I couldn't bring my fucking tacos, so.
Well, all right. I mean, I have a whole plethora of story, and I'll feed them in every now and then. But speaking of tendon damage, one of my when I was a child, this is actually not my injury, but I was 2 feet away when my grandfather had his finger ripped off his hand, and
Like a unsheath, or like was it like a unsheath?
it took the bone and everything.
It just took everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Cut it off. Is what it sounds like.
Basically, so when you live close to the water, you are dumb and you have a boat. And
Boats are dumb.
yes, and we were. I want to say we were taking it. So if you're not a boat person, like in the off season, you'll put your boat up on cinder blocks, or if
the
you're
very least.
fancy, you'll have the
lift
proper
or something.
stands that
You'll
it can
have
go
somebody
on.
else do it.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he pays someone for that.
So we were getting ready to take the boat off the cinder blocks, and my grandfather was, finagling with something while I believe my father was backing the truck up and bumped it, and the boat slid off the cinder blocks, catching my grandfather's middle finger in between and just ripped his middle finger off.
So it was your father's fault.
No, that'll do it. Yeah,
Yes.
like, that'll-
It'll do it. I think I was 7. I had to go pick up his finger for my grandmother because she's like, here's a Ziploc bag full of ice. Put his finger in there.
I'm surprised it wasn't milk at that time. Just pop it in milk and you could just
You're
reattach.
obsessed with milk.
Yeah, what is with your milk thing today?
It's an old school
Regular
way.
old Dairy Queen over here.
Jerry Queen. That's great. That's
am
a
a
better
queen.
joke than he's getting credit.
I am a queen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But
He's right.
Yeah, I remember that, and it's so funny because you forget like how the circulatory system works, and like your heart pumps your blood, so your blood just squirts like squirt,
Yeah.
squirt.
Yeah.
And it's in a
just shooting
pump.
out.
Like, it's to a beat. Like, it's hard to place the beat because it depends on person to person, but it's not like that's why they tell you like for CPR, they like what is it, staying alive to use.
Oh, the beat of the song.
beat.
Yes. Yeah.
And because that's kind of how that's the love dub of the heart.
To fill in the listeners, shockingly, Moses has the most medical training here.
Yes, he does.
He's actually the most capable of keeping someone alive in this room, which is shocking.
At least
said
by
that-
a training standard.
Yeah, at
I've
least
said
from
this
that,
before.
yeah.
I help
he
those
wouldn't
that help
save your
themselves.
life, but he does know how.
Yeah. Oh, I just want you to know that I could save you, but
Just so I can visualize it, which finger was it?
It was his middle finger. His best gag was giving the finger with his ghost finger for the rest of his life.
That one
awesome.
get clipped, but none of the others.
Yeah, that does raise questions.
Yeah, well, it's the longest, but it still should. Yeah, if it got cut off at the base, it should.
Yeah,
have,
he
he
had,
should have lost the rest of them.
I'm looking at my own
basically-
hand trying to gauge that. Like,
He
I didn't already
basically
know.
had about like a quarter inch of nub of that finger left.
That's enough to give a middle finger.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have a fun story about a dismembered finger.
Please.
We're gonna cut. Well, never mind.
Fuck
I wanna,
you.
I want to cut it out because I
too
had
late.
the best hand jobs from the girl that lost her finger.
Wow. Wow.
Do you,
know
want
your
his
wife doesn't
grandfather's
listen to
phone
this,
number?
right?
I
Yeah.
know,
You
but
can just leave
somebody might
that.
tell her.
Honestly, that's pretty great.
Somebody might tell her.
What
And-
a cock tease. What a
I mean,
cock
not for
tease.
nothing. It's not like she doesn't know that you were with people before.
All right,
You
well,
were
this
with
is way
her.
before that I knew her.
It was way
And,
before that, yeah.
Some of the best hand jobs that I've ever gotten was because she was missing her middle finger. She lost it in.
I don't know how that works.
Well, because it's just a nub and like the.
You know what?
Really?
Actually, I take back the question. I take
But
back.
Was she too close to the
I do
sun?
want to leave this, and I'll put myself
she
out
also
there.
lost it as a kid into an elliptical accident.
Jesus
What
Christ.
the fuck is this story?
That's it. Well, it's not for today.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Stay tuned.
I mean, I felt joy, I felt despair.
All the markings.
I'm
of the
leaving with more questions than I started with, but it's all right. I mean, we've already spoken about some of your hospital interactions in the past in a foreign
had-
country.
I have. Well, kind of.
We don't have to revisit that.
No, I didn't really get into any facility overseas.
No, they didn't want you.
Yeah, they didn't want me.
Yeah. No.
They were
Why
smart.
would they?
It's probably because of who I was with.
So what did you bring the show and tell today? What are you going to share with us?
Well, I could tell you a cacophony of stories.
Wow.
There's the one when I broke my arm the second time. That's the more interesting than the first time.
Well, thank you for aggregating better stories for us.
But I'll lead off with that because I had already broken my arm previous to this, my left arm. And it broke because I was jumping. We were playing Manhunt. This was ages ago. And I tried to scale up.
Oh, this wasn't last week. You're like 40 years old. We
Yeah,
know
well,
it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
We weren't playing Manhunt last week. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
we
I'm
were,
sorry.
but you guys.
We
didn't
were.
know. You guys
It's called
didn't know.
Night Crawlers, and you said that you wouldn't mention it. So go ahead.
All right. So I tried jumping a fence and my shoelace got caught, so I broke my arm. Fine,
Yeah.
whatever. Like it was, and then I continued to go about the day. Like it hurt, but the ice cream man, I heard him coming,
Oh,
and I had to get my ice cream.
Is this a sex thing?
No,
I'm more disturbed about your
I'm
love
between-
of dairy.
yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
I feel like I'm learning a lot about
totally
his
is sex
dairy
thing.
obsession
Yeah,
today.
it's weird.
Well-
Is that the man with like the nub?
Well,
that gave good hand
it
jobs?
hurt to run after because the ice cream man would never stop for us because.
Did he also have
We never
kids
had
in
money.
that van?
Well, he didn't stop until he was finished.
And so, like, I ran after an ice cream truck with a broken arm, and I was just like, oh, this might be serious. And then I got that taken care of. A year later
Taken care of.
to the date, I broke my arm again.
This guy's breaking his arm very conveniently.
Also
you know?
jumping
I feel
a
like
fence.
I have a broken arm coming on right now.
Also jumping a fence, and we were, I don't know if we were playing Manhunt or what the fuck we were playing, but my bone popped out to say, like, hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes my bone
that
pops
made
out
it
to say
much
hi.
more difficult because I've already suffered a broken arm, and there was a lot of pain. But it was like this was 10 times more pain.
Hey, listen, full on compound fracture, baby.
Hey, well, yeah, I have a scar because the scar that's left
Oh, yeah.
has a
I've seen
fat
that,
part
yeah.
where the bone came out because they couldn't really put that together better.
I was going to say
Well,
that
aside
scar.
from where
and I don't
they're-
mean this is like a shitty thing because I think you're a very handsome person, but that scar on your arm is goddamn fucking hideous.
Wait, so this story doesn't end in ice cream?
The ice cream is a euphemism for the hand job that he got.
No,
the ice cream man he was missing a finger or something like
Let
that.
me tell
I
the
wasn't
story
really
because it does end with ice cream, but not in a great way. Because I was supposed to go to
sexual way.
I was supposed to go to basketball practice at that time.
Was it David Lee Roth? Is this what we're doing with? I'm your ice cream man.
I was thinking of Ice Cream Dream, and I don't remember who sang that. It was a hip hop group.
Go
You wanna
on.
look that up?
What about Ice Cream Castles by Morris Day and the Time?
Oh, that's a good one.
How many fucking ice cream songs do you know?
All of them.
This might be a conspiracy.
Anywho,
Is this a setup?
so when I saw that bone pop out, I was
It's going to be really hard. If you keep wording it this way, I'm going to keep making sex jokes. Can you please rephrase?
I was scared as fuck, because the bone's not supposed to be out of my arm.
Typically, no.
Yeah, that's not where I keep it. And it didn't hurt because I was in such shock of just seeing my bone outside of me.
That's how it is when you fuck yourself up real bad, though.
It would
You're
like this is probably because I fucked myself up pretty bad in years after, but it was never anything like
The
it was
D12.
it was yeah. Oh, I got plenty of stories, but like I was just like, oh my fucking god, like I shouldn't see that, and now it hurts.
How old were you at this time?
Between 10 and 13,
Okay.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because this happened
60 years ago.
fair, but it was
70
like
years
because I had
ago?
broken
Am I
my
close?
arm a year to the date.
How was the Korean
Wow.
War?
Yeah, absolutely.
It didn't go well.
You look great for your age.
And I'm just gonna let you know.
I mean, it didn't go.
Spoiler alert. Didn't go well.
We'll save that for another podcast.
So then what
Continue.
happened?
Yeah.
I remember the thing that I remember the most is a friend called my mother because it was right around the corner from where we lived, and he's like, he did it again, and so I had a broken arm and I I don't think anybody there at the scene really saw it because I was hunched over and
Screaming
trying
in
to Well, I screamed at first, but then I stopped because I was just like
It
intrigued.
became more of a moaning.
And then it was just like, oh, no, he's hurt. And now he's not acting right. Like, he should be in pain. And he's not exhibiting any of
Well,
that.
you're probably in shock to some degree.
Well, yeah, I think that's what
You're
it
also
is.
like a
like a
bizarre
sociopath.
sociopath.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that came into play yet. Because that's a mutant power. Then you get that at 16 under extreme.
Okay.
Is this where you got your magnetism from?
Yes and no.
Okay, go ahead.
We'll delve into
Pin
that.
that. We'll pin that.
But on the ride to the emergency room, because my mother picked me up, because as everybody knows, ambulances it's a scam.
Well, it's certainly fucking expensive as
And
shit.
they are exorbitantly
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
This is all in my head, so. But she hit
on
every
this,
she hit every goddamn bump,
Well, okay.
and it's like everything hurt. Everything like it was radiating throughout my body. Like my bone is in pain, but my body's just like, we've done this before.
She probably did it to you on purpose.
Yeah.
That's probably fair because there's some fun stories that you've already heard about my mother. But this was before
Yes.
Red. This was before Red. What the hell's that?
Red what? One more context clue.
Alcohol.
Fireball. Fireball, yeah.
This is well before Fireball.
Yeah,
Context
When she was
here
just
is that,
drinking Rusty Nails at
Mom,
a regular.
Mom loves Fireball.
This is the Rusty Nail paradigm before it switched over to the Fireball paradigm.
It was all Rusty Nails, and that's a lot of scotch in a drink.
Is that what a rusty nail is made out of?
It's Rusty
I didn't know-
Nail
I didn't know it was
and some kind of almond flavored liqueur.
so it's a
I can't
Rusty
remember.
Nail and some sort of almond stuff. Okay, great.
Di Serono would
It's,
be
it's scotch and this.
Or no,
and
that's
That's amaretto.
amaretto. Yeah.
which is a almond flavored
Yes.
thing. But
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
No, it's some. Maybe it was. I don't know. Anywho. And I remember so much pain, and I also because the year prior when I initially broke my arm, I got brought to an orthopedic of sorts.
Of sorts is
Well,
okay.
Let me continue the story because my father was there with me, and he's like, like the doctor was like, I gotta reset this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like I only get this in retrospect because I know that X-rays are a thing, and as a kid,
They do exist.
I didn't put too much into it, but he's like, oh no, this got to be
Put you in
reset.
an MRI.
Because I'm only at a doctor's office at this point.
You would
This
have
is
to take his butt plug
the
out.
first broken arm. And he's
Where
just,
was this office that
This
you
is like
went
a
to?
back
Off
alley.
88.
Let's be real
It was
about
off
this.
88. It was
It's a
Dr.
fucking
Freeze.
back
Oh,
alley
okay.
fucking
I think
doctor.
he has killed himself since.
I think so too.
Yeah, because you know who I'm talking
I
about.
do know exactly
Because he
who
was
you're
kind of
talking
the only other, like...
He was back in the day. Yes.
Yeah, like this was ages
Yeah.
ago. And he's just like, oh, I'm not going to hurt you. And he's like holding my arm. And then he just fucking breaks it. Like, mind you, it's already been broken. But he's setting it. I get you can't see the quotation marks that I'm saying.
There's a lot of air quotes
Like,
here.
He break it again.
You know, he rebroke it. And that was gonna, like, mind you, he hasn't taken an X-ray at all because he doesn't have that ability in his.
Why would I need an
facility.
X-ray? See the bone right there.
But and I kicked him in the nuts when that happened because I'm a kid. And like,
When God is your co-radiologist, you don't really need to worry
my
about
father put him against the wall, and my father was a gentle soul. Like he's not one
He's a nice
to
guy.
Yeah.
like. He'll give you the benefit, and that's probably where I get a lot of like. I hate everybody, but like I give a lot of benefit of the
Are
doubt.
you
describing
people
yourself
so
as a
much
gentle
leeway.
soul?
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna
You're not
backtrack on
gentle,
that.
but
I'm
you give
talking
people a
about
lot of
my.
leeway.
I'm not gentle, but like I made an in between of him and what real life is. But but he was a. And he grabbed he yoinked that fight like he was ready to monkey dunk him.
What the fuck does that
What's
mean?
monkey?
You don't know? You know a monkey dunk?
No, I need to know that.
Oh, this is a colloquialism that we used to use.
Oh my god.
In fairness,
repeatedly.
Moses is deeply Italian. So, I feel like
Fair.
we're about to drop
Fair.
into
Yeah,
race
that's
Fair.
right.
shit.
Like you know what I'm like.
Pucker your butts.
You could use your best imagination on what a monkey. It's just like slamming somebody on the ground with like unfathomable strength. Like yeah, you got a strong guy, but like when he gets pissed off, it's like a mother ripping her child out of a car. You know, like
I only have one
pissed?
question. Are you bringing it back?
no.
Okay.
But like we put the I wouldn't say we put the works to him, but like it was super fucking painful, and it was more painful than me actually breaking the arm.
Yeah.
And then
Honestly, I would think that it would.
as a child worry inset just because I don't have a whole understanding at the time of what medical is.
So the term monkey dunk actually
Wow.
does exist. This is from, you are not right, Moses. This
Well, we knew
is
that.
from urbandictionary.com.
Oh, the best. The best.
That's never going to tell us our true story.
I hope it's not terrible.
Oh, it's going to be terrible because I'm reading it right now and you're all going to be disappointed. Monkey dunk. Noun. The act of spiking in the Super Smash Brothers series while playing as either Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong.
Oh, well, this was done well before.
Don't defend yourself.
No, monkey dunk.
Use the
I'm defending the
phrase.
term monkey dunk.
Did this actually happen, or were you playing a game and maybe we're like super high?
Now I feel like he didn't break his arm at all.
It actually to prove it. But this actually happened, and that was the thought going through my mind because monkey dunk is a fun kind of phrase to use whenever you're.
This is the first time I've ever heard it.
I've never heard it before.
I'm actually disappointed. I thought monkey dunk was going to be a lot more brutal.
Yeah.
It's just throwing somebody like you're a fucking because you got the strength of 1,000 gorillas.
What the fuck is this? Yeah.
Yeah, you got the strength of 1,000 gorillas.
It's like porch monkey. You're like bringing it back.
Gorilla, yeah. I'll abide by my C-Lab. And you just pick somebody up and just kind of trounce them.
And you stuff them. You stuff them.
You just kind of you do what like Hulk did to Loki in Avengers. Like it's just like boom, boom, yeah, weak God.
So then what
It's
happened
like
to your arm
kinda wasted.
afterwards?
Yes,
Was it all like hanging off the elbow?
Yeah.
Well, now I use it to jerk off.
I feel like we skipped a couple steps.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
maybe
the arm's
we did.
good? Or is it
Doctor
not
broke
good?
your arm.
Well, at that point, this
You
is
beat up the guy or monkey dunked him, and then what happened?
Well, I wanted to, but it was
Would you?
it was like
him?
it was fixed better than it should have been.
So the doctor fixed your arm.
Yeah,
You beat him up for it.
yeah, that's what you do for doctors.
No wonder he killed himself.
Ed, you know this as well as anybody
shit.
you know as well as anybody that no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh, man. That was a roller coaster of a story.
Oh, man. Don't help this man.
Had ups, downs, lulls, confusing parts.
Well, let's talk about the times that you guys have helped me, because I've done
Well, do you want to lead that off? Which one? Because I'd love to hear your side of the story first.
Well, I also need to hear your side because I did cut myself at
Okay,
an
all
event,
right, we'll tell you what.
a party.
I'm going
but
to keep
I don't
this
remember
party
what it was.
moving. I'll throw in another quick story. This didn't happen to me, but happened in front of me once again. One of my buddies in 6th grade, going over a chain link fence in basketball shorts, ripped his nutsack open.
Oh God, that just reminded me of your story.
Did the balls fall out?
I don't know how that works, to be quite honest with you.
No, I have a story that goes along with that because there was this kid that
Did you rip your balls open?
No, it wasn't me. It was just a kid that we went
While
to
he
his
was playing
house to
Donkey
drink,
Kong.
and he was liked enough because his parents had an unending supply of what would essentially become water because we would just refill the liquor
What
cabinet.
does that mean?
We would just refill the liquor cabinet. And he came running at us to try and stop. And they had this setup of in their house where there's like 2 different rooms, but there was like a Y of a beam. There was a beam.
No
there
one
that
can see your hands.
Yeah, no. This is an audio medium.
I don't know. Well, I'm just trying to, like, as if you can correct me on a description. And he
Have they been there?
I would
well,
love
no,
to
it was-
if
it
I
was-
understood what the fuck
it
you were
was his
saying.
I don't know
house,
what we're talking
and he
about.
came running at us because we were fucking with him, and we all dodged, and he slid and essentially scissored the door frame,
Oh, no.
and he had to go to the hospital for it.
No.
And oh my God, there was like I've been around a lot of blood. There was so much blood.
How? From that?
No,
there
he
knives
slid.
on the
Like
door
they
jam?
just re-waxed these wood floors, and he was wearing socks, but like you can't stop. So he fell, and that was the worst part
of this tale is so absurd.
Was there a sharp object anywhere?
It wasn't sharp, but it was a wishbone kind of.
He cut himself in half.
Well, no, it's one of those. It's one of those.
I'm like picturing it like a,
But
like a bead arm.
it only stopped cutting after his balls were decimated.
Is this real?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a real story.
Well, listen, my buddy.
I forgot all about it,
I don't think
honestly.
he dropped a ball per se, but he was definitely bleeding from his nuts.
Oh, this motherfucker! If he didn't drop a ball, I'd be surprised. Wow. Like, oh, he got hurt hard.
I mean,
and
all I can say
none of
about it
us
is
were
that
about it.
I've been hitting the nuts, and it doesn't feel good.
It's not the
It's
same.
nothing like these scenarios.
Moses, I'm steering away from you for a little bit. Peter, or whoever the fuck you are.
Yeah, alabaster.
Alabaster fucking nut milk. I don't know.
Alabaster black.
He does look
Do
like a
you
nut.
have
He
any
does look
stories
like a
to
nut
share?
milk.
Nothing like that. I have nothing.
Oh, I got worse ones if you're
compares
ready.
to that.
You got run over by a car or something on a bicycle once or something, right?
that was
actually,
hilarious.
as a matter of fact,
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I was riding my bike on a sidewalk, leaving work, heading home, and I was quite literally on a sidewalk. Watched a car. You know, I mean, like there's the road is right.
You were
next
not
door.
the douchebag cyclist that we were talking about.
And I'm like
several
passing
weeks ago.
over, like, so it's like a fucking, you know, you get into a fucking gas station and there's the little driveway.
There's
the
multiple
little,
entrances.
Yeah, exactly. It's
They're
the
for
entrance,
both.
It's the entrance to like a gas station. And I'm like on the sidewalk proper, you know, no bullshit.
Was this day or night?
This is the
This is
middle
day.
of the day.
This is day.
This is like 2 or 3 p.m. And I'm just like riding over that, and I see the car turning to clearly drive into that driveway. And you know, like you have a lot of things in your head where it's just like this won't go the way that I think it's about to go. And sure enough, he just like there was no brakes involved. He just drove right into me, and so knocked me in like the side of the right leg, shin level. A little bit below the knee.
You were
I go
you were
off of-
wearing purple pants at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there, but yes, I was wearing. I was shorts, by the way, purple shorts, and yeah, this fucking kid fucking knocks me, so I fly off of the bike. So he hits me on the right hand side, right leg. I go off of the bike to the left. I land maybe like 5 or 6 feet away from the bike. Bike is still there. He does stop once he realizes that he hit someone, and he runs over the bike, but only by a little bit. So it's like right under his vehicle. He
Small
stops before he
blessings,
runs me over, and I'm laying on my back like super. Like I had no idea what happened.
Yeah,
I was very
dazed.
confused, and I like kind of opened my eyes almost, like maybe they were open. I don't know, but I like come back to
You come back into like the realization of the world and situation
exactly.
around
Yeah, I
you.
get my awareness, and I'm completely on my back, laid out, and the kid who was driving the car has had enough time that he gets out, and he's standing directly over me. He's not helping, which like I get that. He's like standing directly over me, and I look up into his eyes. Because I just don't.
Right.
I have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And he's just staring at me, and he's just like, "Oh my God, I just hit you." And I was like, and in my head, I'm thinking like, "No fucking shit." You know, like obviously you just fucking hit me. And I get up, and I thought that I was like royally fucked up. I thought my leg was broken and everything.
Oh yeah, man. I understand that.
And it ended up that was not the case, thank God. But he was like immediately he shifted over to just being concerned for his own well-being and like whether he would get in trouble with his parents or some shit like that. And I was like, I don't even give a shit about that. I just hope my leg isn't broken.
Right. No,
yeah. It's like, I don't give a shit about your fucking
I
problems.
don't care about you at all.
Yeah.
Understand this. I'm worried about my functions and faculties.
Exactly, yeah.
I was at your house waiting for you because I took a car like an intelligent person.
What kind of car was it, by the way?
The vehicle that hit me?
Yes.
It was like an SUV.
So not rich.
No. But this
do
is the funny thing about it. So I basically I got up. The ambulance showed up. Another one showed up. The cop showed up. I tried to get up at one point, like straight up, like I was just like trying to just like stand, and the cop fucking yelled at me. He was like, "Get the fuck down!" Yeah, and I was like, "Holy shit! Am I in trouble right now?" You know?
Of course you are. Look at your
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
demeanor.
But either way, so I laid back down, and like at a certain point, Moses, you did show up, and
No, I was at your house.
and the
I
kid-
didn't show up.
Well,
to
no,
that.
you showed up later. Yeah,
I went to the scene. Oh,
Yeah,
I
how do you
did.
not remember
Yeah, that's
this?
right.
yeah.
That's when he broke his arm.
You absolutely were there. Yeah. How do you not remember this?
Well, because I was at your house for a while
He
waiting
spent
for you.
like all right, so I'll digress from my own story. He showed up and immediately starts laughing like a fucking maniac. There's still a cop there, and he's just going on and on.
Like
about
he's a
how-
Joker and he's orchestrated it.
And
through
he's just
machinations.
talking endlessly about how I'm wearing purple shorts, and he would not shut the fuck up about it. It was all that he was doing was telling Hulk jokes. Meanwhile, I am trying to tell the cop that I am leaving, one way or the other. Like I was like, I'm leaving with my friend. He's like, you can't ride out of here. I'm like, I fucking know that because my leg may or may not be broken, and I am leaving with my friend here. And you are just cackling like a fucking lunatic.
I'll be honest. I think it's kind of funny that you were wearing purple shorts.
It is funny. You're not
Thank you.
wrong, yeah.
Thank you that the joke is not lost on intelligent people.
If I can. Oh no, Pete. Finish up. Alabaster.
The gist of it is that like the cop was like, you got to talk to the person who did this. So I go over and I talk to the kid who's like a few years younger than myself, and he was like, listen, it's like, I'm sorry about that. And he actually made the mistake of telling the cop that the cop obviously asked him like, how did this happen? And the kid was so stupid that he was like, I was texting.
Well, he was enamored by the
insane.
cop ways. That's how they get you in trouble.
Like honestly, I was so much more upset for him. Upset with him for like just being honest as opposed to just telling like a bullshit story. essentially.
Right.
honestly, all I wanted to do was.
Well,
love
I mean
that
that
kid.
is very antithetical to your way of operation.
I know,
so.
exactly. So anyway, so I tell the cop, I was like, I'm leaving unless you're actually going to have to stop me. The cop couldn't. So I ended up going with you, Moses, despite you not remembering. And so I said to the kid who hit me.
We got a pizza, didn't we?
Exactly. I said to the kid, I was like, hey, what's up? We obviously just like shared a moment together.
There was an infraction that occurred.
And he was like, do you need anything from me? And I was like, well, I'm not going to sue you if that's what you mean. and he was like, so what do I have to do? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, but you definitely
all the
ran
money
over
in
my
your
bike.
wallet.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened, and they gave you like $20.
So I was like, listen, I was like, like you're a fucking idiot, but like just give me money to like go and eat some food because I'm fucked up right now, and I'm definitely not going to be able to get to the bar that I was going to. So just give me like a little bit of money for pizza. So he does that, and we get back, and indeed we did enjoy that pizza. It was delightful.
It was.
My mom calls him up because it was like
The guy?
what happened
More
was
or
is that
less.
it calls up because the police obviously follow a report.
He called she called the contact number.
Basically what happened was is that like I get back, I tell my ma, and I'm good to go, this, that, the other, and I said to her, I was like, if there's more expenses associated with this, then we'll go from there. So there was like the bike was ruined, so that was basically like the gist.
Nothing
of it,
medical though.
Nothing medical, no. My leg was pretty bad, fucked up, but it did heal over time.
Man.
But either way, Ma was like, I'm going to at least get the money for the bike.
Yeah,
that's
property
owed.
damage.
It's owed, And I was
You're
like,
owed it. You're
that's
owed it,
perfectly
yeah.
fine. So the same time as she makes that decision is it happens to be the same day that we get the police report in the mail. And they apparently have to draw the scene when there's an injury.
Yeah.
And this cop drew a stick figure version of what he saw when he rolled
This
up.
reminds me
and
a lot
it's
of
me as a
D&D.
stick figure with a bike underneath a vehicle. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever. She literally framed it. Like the first time that I ever saw it, it was framed and she was hanging it up
that's
in
amazing.
the room.
Oh my God! If
that was your
if I could
greatest
get hold of
accomplishment in
that,
life.
Yeah.
that picture.
Oh, she has it. Yeah,
Because
you can get it.
it's
Yeah.
all right. I got to talk to your mother about Christmas.
Well, listen. I want to try to get a little inside information. Ed, you oversaw the upbringing of this fine fellow over here. Do you have any fun stories to tell?
Not really. He's
Wow.
actually been mostly an uninjured person.
Unlike the movie Unbreakable.
Can I ask a question then? How did he get that scar above his eye?
Oh, there is.
Wow.
That was. It actually isn't that.
I thought that was an interesting.
He was a young lad of about 6 or 7.
4.
4? Okay, 4.
Oh, I thought it happened way later.
Nope.
I was 4 or 5, for sure.
And what happened was one of my friends, who actually now is a theater director at a university, was giving you a horse ride.
I remember.
And then
It was a
hooked you
delightful
up.
horse ride, by the way.
Is it a real horse or is it?
No, he was a human being.
That's not.
Ed's friend is not a director at a university and also a horse.
That's not what I was asking either. But it
No,
kinda
sir, I
answers
don't
the
like
question.
Flipped him off into a child bed. Now, this child bed it's actually pretty interesting because
Old Formica furniture.
Yep. And every edge was sharp.
Oh, yeah.
There was
that's
no
just
dull
razor
edges on
sharp.
there. Hit his forehead right on it, split it, blood everywhere. I thought you died that day. I was hopeful, but
Yeah.
No, we all wish that. But
Yeah.
Here we are. Our father grabbed you and ran you out of the house, and I told my buddy we were still sitting on the couch. Everybody else had left, and I was like, I think he's dead.
casually.
I died inside that day.
We started rummaging through your stuff, but you were 4 years old. So
Right,
nothing
right.
good.
There was not anything of too much
the guy's
value.
just got popsicle sticks. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
We actually got to do that now because you have better stuff now.
That's true, yeah. I got a lot of shit to take.
I see a
Does
reenactment
he
in the
really have
future.
better stuff?
Moses, give him a horsey ride.
Yeah. Can he lift me? He's
Well, you
like
said
3
your
feet
buddy's in
tall.
charge of like a
easily
theater
lift
department now or something like that?
Yeah, it was funny, because that was not how he started out. That would be the last thing.
Well, I see a reenactment in the future. That's all I'm saying.
Let's do it.
You've opened up a new world for me. All right.
But yeah, man, that's pretty rough. And now we know why your hairline's the way it is.
They brought it down. Yeah. Now I look like Drake.
Nah, he looks like Drake, but he doesn't need the.
That's the joke, right?
The wheelchair. That's the joke I've always been. What have you done, Justin? Like, have you been on the wrong end of a?
I've never pony ride. Hilariously, because I was one of those feral lock-key, like, what do you call them? Like, latchkey kids.
Yeah.
I never got hit by a car, even though I should have many times. I've been, like, riding my bike across the highway I grew up off of and, like, not paying attention at all, and a car slams on the brakes and somehow misses me.
That's fun because I do have a couple of near misses. Like, because I was just riding a bike and didn't realize they had a trailer, and I was trying to cross over and got hit. But like, I maintained, so it was fine. Like, it was not a
I
big
have
thing, but-
I have like weird shit. That's like your compound fracture. Yeah, you got hit by a car. We've all they're more common. I accidentally locked my hand in a car door, and the lock went through my hand when I was
so many questions.
11 or 12 years old. It was an old Mazda 626, so think about a knockoff DeLorean, brushed steel.
Doesn't have to lift it, the wings.
No. But the doors were like almost 5 feet long, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's like a
Horror
2-door
movie scenario.
mock like sporty-ish looking car.
It looks like a Hot Wheel, like a concept car, concept car of sorts.
That one, I distinctly remember. I was probably about 12 or 13. We had spent the weekend on a camping trip. And like none of these details actually matter. But like we stopped at my aunt's house. I got out of the car and slammed the door and wasn't able to walk away. So it's like felt no pain, nothing. I'm just like, and like my brain's like, why can't I move forward? Why can't
the brain freezes up.
I'm a trying. I don't know what's going on. And I look back, and these doors probably weighed over 100 pounds each. Yeah. I look back, and like the door, I mean, it's obviously got the vast majority, the only finger phalange that's outside of the door is my thumb. And,
wow.
Yeah, couldn't open the door because the lock had engaged and had gone through the meat of my hand between my thumb and pointer finger.
That's like
Was the hand
the visceral like identity of all of that is just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't want to. Like, I've done a lot of. I've succumbed to a lot of ridiculous injuries.
Yeah.
And just hearing them, and especially because I've never done that one.
Right.
And goddamn, that sounds painful as fuck.
Gentlemen, we've been talking about potentially getting hit by cars and all that stuff.
Oh.
I had a story about that.
Are we going to
you
hear
do.
the legend of legend?
Dan, I would love, if we're going to tell this story, I'd love to tell it.
Let's
You
hear a
wanna
duet,
tell it?
ladies
I
and
would
gentlemen.
love to tell it.
Yeah. I want to hear.
can amend
Everybody
the
needs to
details.
hear the legend of legend.
Do you want my inside baseball on the story, or do you just want
Give
to
it
tell
to me. Give it to me.
All right. So, freshman year of high school, I was perpetually getting rides from my older brother. He was a
The
senior,
year
I
was
believe.
1982.
Yes. I was born in,
I am way
I
older.
guess, 1958. What year is this?
I am way older than Dan, so it couldn't have been 82.
No.
So
It was 82.
my brother was driving a ratty ass. I cannot remember the make and model of this car, but it's a ratty ass car. It was like, I think it was like light blue or some shit like that.
It was the car from the movie Christine.
Jeez.
That's a Chevy, isn't it? We got a friend Face that has it in his car park.
It's not his vehicle, but
So
I know it's Jenny's, but
what ended up happening was his car broke down. He was trying to figure out what the problem was. We didn't live far from the high school. So he was like, I'm going to look at this. You can just walk home. So what I ended up doing is at this particular high school, there was only one really set up crosswalk, and it was incredibly out of the way. It's like, oh, go walk all the way towards this end of the street when your crossroads is right over here.
Right.
So I was like, no, I'm just going to like look both ways and cross the street like one does.
like an adult.
Yeah. So I looked to the left. Nothing's coming. Nothing's coming for a while. And then I looked over to the right, and it was just packed. So I got fixated on what's coming from the other side.
Yeah, I can understand.
Was it a slow, like...
It was stopped. I think maybe like the person that, managed...
Somebody
the
else got
the
in.
cross guard was probably...
Somebody else
stopped.
got in an accident up there. I got it.
And so, because I'm looking over cars, I was figuring, all right, I can go in now. And then, bolt right into the street.
Real life Frogger.
Yes.
Yeah, he had his Meet Joe Black moment.
And what ended up happening was I rode up the front of the car and then landed on my feet.
Yes.
And not even I kind of landed like Spider-Man, where I was just kind of like, oh shit.
Superhero land.
I just got
Superhero land.
I'm going to stop you right here, Dan.
Maximum effort.
Because you're not telling the story right.
Were you there for this? Like, where's Pete and...
I'm with Dan always. It was a speeding semi-truck. Traveling at approximately 120 miles an hour. This person
It's the same truck that killed that kid from Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
It's the same truck.
The vehicle was traveling at an insane
Green
speed.
Goblin on it. But.
Dan did indeed. The first part of the story that he told was right. He did look both ways. However, as he stepped into the road, this vehicle, the driver, slammed on the gas instead of the brakes. He had a bloodlust for Dan.
Oh.
And as he careened into Dan's body, and I do want to paint a picture here. Imagine a rag doll.
Yes, I
As
can do that.
the front of this 18-wheeler a flat grill at the front. Dan makes immediate impact. The truck is obviously severely damaged, and now he begins to roll up over the hood and so on and so forth. We have a shattered windshield now. Dan is maintaining composure throughout this, and I don't know, because I observed this to occur, but I was not privy to the details. He may or may not have still been producing shows at that time.
Oh, okay.
I can't speak to it. But what I can say is that I observed as he rolled up over the hood, severe damage to the vehicle. I saw the windshield shatter as he careened over another 20, then another 20. In total, it was 53 feet of tractor trailer.
Holy shit.
He rolled right over this. And the conclusion you did get right. He landed like Spider-Man. The vehicle, the damage that occurred was shocking. I watched as it careened in a fireball. The driver did lose his life, and I am sorry to talk about this so glibly as I am right now, but that person did lose their life. He careened into several vehicles as well, so it was actually, I think it was a 7-person fatality that day. But Dan landed on his feet somehow, and forever from that time forward, that is where he gained this title. Yeah.
Thus the legend is born.
It was incredible to watch it occur. Yeah, I don't know how it happened. I don't know how you can dent in a tractor trailer engine, a full-size diesel engine, and it just compresses around your body.
Incredible.
But he was able to do this somehow, and it's just one of those things where it's that God.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
What a blessing.
Yeah, he chooses those of us who are meant to be here, and I think that's this person that I'm looking at right now.
I think it's bullshit that you're promoting that for God, because that was old Dan.
Well, by the gentlemanly rules of debate, do you have a rebuttal, sir?
I think that story's more interesting, honestly.
Can you tell it in a better way? Because I love for that, because that was boring as fuck.
What I would say, in more so of a more inside baseball aspect, and when I tell people this now, the next day, because I felt fine, literally, like
I saw it. It was incredible.
My mom took me to see a doctor to make sure I didn't hurt myself or anything like that.
No
It's
internal
and then
injuries.
I literally used
7
it.
corpses lay behind him, but he was fine.
I used it as an excuse to get my physical done to maybe try out for football.
Oh, there you go.
The next day.
What?
The next day, I felt like I was 40. Everything hurt.
So you felt like you feel today.
Yes. Every day I wake up, I'm like, this is what that felt like. Getting hit by that tractor trailer, apparently.
I mean, with that in mind, I have never felt not 40.
Just like always.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just from birth, it's all pain. It's just like pain that I can get by on it, but it hurts and it's annoying. It's more annoying than the pain thing, where it's just.
Have you tried shaving your beard?
Well, the beard is new.
All the man has to do is eat ice cream.
No.
I'm not a big fan of ice cream.
Clearly.
I eat tuna.
Oh, I'm not a good Christian. What's that story about the person loses his power after his hair's cut off?
That's Samson.
Samson and Delilah.
Yeah. Modern day Samson. If he loses that beard, it's all over.
I guess that is a Christian thing. Isn't it?
I don't know.
You went to
I've heard it once or twice.
I've heard it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
You went to
Judeo-Christian.
St. Rose or some shit. You should know that.
I didn't go to St. Rose.
I wasn't talking to you.
The Jews and the Christians can pull that story.
Abrahamic and some.
I guess the Muslims too, then, right?
Yeah, presumably it's all the same thing. Yeah.
For the win.
For the win.
Yeah.
All right. So
And it's only wins.
we
don't
have,
acknowledge losses.
we've listed off a bunch of physical injuries, whether it's cuts, contusions, things like that. I have one that's actually, I got bit by a brown recluse spider when I was 13
that's
years
fucked
old.
up.
And that has fucked me up to this day. And it's been 20-something years.
I'm paranoid about that shit.
Yeah.
That is weird. Yeah, because spiders are kind of icky anyway, and most people have that
Icky.
kind of.
I think they also melt your skin.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we always imagine them to be. It's some kind of.
That's what they do. You don't imagine that.
It's
That's
a
a real thing.
grandiose.
It's called necrosis, first of all.
Icky.
You don't have much dead on you.
Yeah, so this is when I was young, and I was a terrible Boy Scout, went away to summer camp for a week in Forestburg, New York. And that's about all. We shot a lot of guns. I had a great time. And also had to dive into a freshwater. It was like survival training. Bizarre. But,
What are you surviving?
Boy Scouts.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Like if it's
I was
all
in a weird version of Boy Scouts where they just tried to kill us all the time.
Yeah, because all I did was sell popcorn and some kind
No,
of.
we didn't do it. We
gas.
just
You were in
shotgun.
Boy Scouts?
For a bit. For a bit.
We'll save that for another.
This might be a whole.
This is
yeah,
a whole
yeah,
separate
yeah.
podcast.
But yeah, so I'm up in Forestburg, New York for a week, and it's like the way it happened was like it's so like boring, but became so not boring so quick. Literally just fishing on like the side of the lake, and I just looked down and there's blood running down my leg. Like I got bit essentially right below the knee on my shin.
You're becoming a woman.
And I'm like, well, that's weird. And they're like, the spider was there. I saw the spider, but I'm like, what? I didn't even feel it, like straight up. And I was able to like, clean it up. Oh, bizarre. Like no immediate like adverse effects until that wound just got deeper and wider and greener.
Yeah.
And
So that's why you don't have a leg. All right.
I still have a leg. Very much so.
I don't know that.
That's fair. Wasn't until I got back that like it was like I actually had a cavity in my shin, which is weird because you don't have a whole lot of meat there.
No.
Shouldn't be a hole in any wound.
Yes,
It
yeah.
should just raise up at best.
Yeah.
Like
Inflammation you're talking about.
Yeah, inflammation. Like it's gonna make.
Sometimes it is shocking talking to you that you have the most medical training out of everyone here. And I have to tell you what inflammation is.
So, like, all right, I get home and it's like it's nasty looking, and it's like you get that like that hard skin around it, like the cellulitis type situation. And if I had to go to the doctor because it just got like worse and worse and worse looking. And they did this whole thing. You had to like I can't remember what it's called, but like you had to like rinse it out every day. And
They have to debride it, take out the dead tissue?
pretty much. Yeah, they had to cut
I'm sure
away
it would
the
have because if it's
necropsy. Yeah, they had to cut away the essentially dead flesh from it, and like that went on for weeks, and like it closed up. I still got like an indent in my leg and shit like that, but that's fine. Now about a couple months after, this is right before I'm going into, I believe, high school. My immune system crashes in like a big bad way, like Epstein bar times like 1,000. No energy, nothing. Just couldn't get out of bed, anything, as much as I wanted to. Turns out I would hate to call it an immune system deficiency, but I have now what's called, from a spider bite, called hyper IgE, which is my immune system, because I had to fight so hard from that spider bite, now does not take a break.
It always thinks it's under attack.
It's always under attack.
Overactive immune system.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Wait, does that mean
Which
you're
is
more
just
immune to things now? Like, are you
It
superhuman?
is funny because, I get sicknesses that are, inconvenient because your body's fighting. So, sinus infections. I get constant sinus infections. And, my hearing is horrendous because I've blown out my eardrums so bad because sinus infections that go into your ear canals. And
So you raise everything louder than it should be, but you can't hear it still because you're clogged.
pretty much. Well, it's not that I can't hear. I can't discern sounds from each other very well.
Inefficiency of that sense.
Yeah. It's not that I can't hear. It's just because I have so much scar tissue in my eardrums that sounds. If there's multiple things going on sound-wise, I have a hard time discerning. If you're talking to
feel
me
that.
and there's sound in the
I feel
It's
background,
more of an adverse interpersonal kind of thing that you.
Like he's autistic? What? You get autism?
what are you trying to say?
We were born with it.
But yeah, I mean, and that to this day, for 3 years, I had to have blood work done every weekend.
That's fucking awful.
Which, I mean, as a person that was scared of needles, I don't really take that out of you.
I will say this. My concern, and I've watched fucked up shit on the internet.
Yeah.
So I know this story. The Brown Recluse and yourself. So I've unfortunately tortured myself with choosing to watch some of these videos or see photos of how that affects a person who's been bitten. I saw one where they were bitten on the tongue.
Oh, what? Oh, God.
And
That's a lot,
You
yeah.
lose the tissue wherever you get bit. That
It
part
becomes
of you
necrotic,
becomes
yeah.
necrotic, and you lose that part. So imagine, and I never saw this, and this is the dark place that my mind went. I was just like, my God, I will be paranoid for the rest of my life, because imagine if that fucking spider bit you on your dick.
I will not allow myself to go there.
No, and you're right.
Well, that's kind of like a gender surgery, so it's kind of cheaper.
Absolutely.
Nature's choice.
I guess
Nature's
I would
choice.
just become a woman. But yeah, no, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
It's weird. It's so weird because, like I said, it didn't even hurt. It's just, but you just see part of
Because their
rotting.
fangs are tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, shall we?
What do you have? Have you ever had any
Brown
injuries that
from insects?
like really dilapidate your state of living? Like,
I am married.
well, that's not a disease. That's a choice. You chose to do that.
Did I though?
Well, fair, but you know.
Let me jump in here and ask a question for Moses because it seems like he's not capable of doing that. Ed, let's move on from what we're talking about because we're running out of time and we want to get to this part. Ed, have you ever needed to get surgery for anything? I know like you like to be physically active and all that. Ever injure yourself and need to get surgery or recommend having surgery done?
A couple. I needed to have surgery on my neck because of fusion and some other things, and I refused them all.
Yeah.
Pretty much until I have to absolutely get it, I'm going to push it off.
It doesn't cause you displeasure.
I don't even like getting
whatever
like
pain
blood
you're
tests.
in.
I almost have to be restrained. So
No shit.
that's it. Like this thing with my hand, the only reason I went is because of all the blood and the fact my hand didn't move. So there are things that I need to get done, but never gonna do it.
I do understand it. And like obviously like I feel very fortunate I don't have any back or neck issues. That seems absolutely debilitating.
That's super prevalent.
yeah.
Everybody.
But they actually tried to talk him into getting a fusion or something like that?
I actually I actually had a small microfracture in my neck. It
Okay.
fused. So that surgery would actually be breaking that surgery apart.
shit.
There's a curvature.
Gotcha.
Called the sit.
You gotta break a couple omelets before.
Wow, thank you.
Wow. Before you make it frittata.
Break a couple of
But I mean, screw those
You
doctors.
gotta break a couple omelets before you make it frittata.
It's been 15 years and I
Before you
still
make an
haven't
egg.
had to get it, but
Okay.
I would push it to the end. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I have essentially a trigger finger situation with my thumb that I've just been pushing off. Like I did like 3 rounds of the shots, the cortisone shots and stuff like that. My thumb will just lock in place sometimes.
You're gonna be a great cop.
That's honestly.
Oh man, that's a fucking great joke. Holy shit. That's fucking awesome.
Well played, sir. Well played. And over the same amount of time, though, I've just like learned how to live with it. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of fine doing that. So I don't know. It's like I don't. Surgery is like one of those things. Unless it's like absolutely necessary, then maybe. But it's like,
I mean, doctors are gonna push surgery. That's
well,
their
it's
job.
the industry.
That's their
It's the
job,
industry.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with
gonna
surgery.
You're
Like,
facilitating your own work.
If it's
people like
it's
to make
worth
money.
it to do surgery and it'll make any of this pain stop, sure, I'll do surgery.
No one can take care of the pain of your life, Moses. I wouldn't want to be you either.
That's the easiest part, honestly. Is it's all this other pain that I have. And
I
it's-
feel like I would. My general sentiment is that if you don't have to go and like go under the needle or the knife, whatever you want to call it, then it's best to be avoided. Essentially, I'm very opposed to that myself. In general, I feel like if it needs to be done, then sure. But if
like,
it's anything other than that, it's like who gives a fuck? We're all gonna fucking die. So
If you
I
have
don't
something
give a
for a
shit.
long amount of time, you adapt. Like I'm sure with your trigger finger, I'm
100%.
sure it's annoying.
I've
but
kind of just adapted to it.
Yeah, that's
and it's
all
fine.
that, that's kind of how I go because I'm diabetic, type 1, and I just
you
adapt.
drink alcohol all the time.
Because I'm adapting.
Yeah.
Caught it
Sure
early
are.
enough where this is okay, and I know what I have to look out for, but it's
you?
all right.
Is it
It's all right.
alcohol?
No, shut your mouth. Like that's a. God damn, you are offensive. But you know, you do what you do until you can't, and that's when it becomes more of a problem. And then you maybe ask for help, but you typically don't.
So I've contemplated this because I've had surgery, the word surgery thrown at me with this torn labrum.
Oh, right. Yes.
So I don't really know what I want to do. If it can make the tension headaches go away, because those are the most debilitating thing. Like it sucks.
yeah.
Like if I'm holding a drink like this and I'm holding it for like too long, or I just kind of like tuck my elbow in or whatever, then it really becomes a problem where I'm like, I got to switch because this thing is just dead to me. I feel like, again, I've made this joke on the podcast before, but I feel like I'm like Dan Marino, Peyton Manning at the same age, where I'm like, I haven't been slinging footballs for like 20 years. Like, why does my arm, like, why is it dead? So I don't know what I will do. Because one of the things I don't want to do is I don't want to have any kind of surgery.
No, I
don't
understand
want to
that.
do that because I want to treat it with physical therapy. But the thing that I'm learning doing the physical therapy is that it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, especially.
Physical therapy is just another way to say work.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
And I'm not about that.
but it's like I like to work out, and physical therapy doesn't scratch that itch. So I'm like,
Right.
what am I to
It's
do?
not something that would be equivalent. But
Yeah, I'm not going to get tired doing my physical therapy. It's going to wear out that one part that sucks. Then it triggers the headaches too, which is another reason why I don't want to do them. Because
so-
if I do the physical therapy, then I'm like, oh shit, I might feel like shit for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that's why I don't. That's why I don't have carbon monoxide detectors, because anytime that carbon monoxide becomes a problem, it gives me a headache. And I've already had a headache.
What the fuck?
And I already had a headache, so I don't need any.
don't know where we're
beeping.
at.
I don't need any beeping going along.
I'm looking for the egress point. Looking for the egress point.
but you know what won't give you a headache? Subscribing to this podcast.
That's a fair point. Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong all this time, Dan.
Make sure you
I'm
leave-
gonna go subscribe.
Make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can also follow us on social media. Get in on the conversation. Maybe not so much in the Moses sense.
I've just done it, and I feel better already.
Very good. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Loud and Drunk. If you enjoyed this podcast, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter. We are at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loud and drunk. So, Moses, I'm going to skip you because you're probably not capable of even completing a thought right
I got a
now.
lot to say.
You have a lot to say, and then you won't finish the sentence, so it's fine.
I like to leave them wanting.
Well, there you go. Justin, closing thoughts.
Moving on along. Listen, it was a great time. Ed, thank you so much for joining us again. Always a pleasure.
Alabaster.
Finish that 40.
I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm sorry, it's hard not to laugh.
Leave them laughing.
Leave him laughing. Moses, you were a real joy.
There's no business like show business, and that's no business that I know.
I mean, that's true.
It's so true.
Ed, closing thoughts.
Thanks for having me, and I'm going to go run off and get this man some ice cream.
Yes, yes.
Oh, he's going off mic.
So, for Justin, Moses, Alabaster, and Ed, I am producer Dan, and thank you for joining us. This is the Loud and Drunk podcast. Play us off, Dan Legendine. Drink that in a small town. See how drunk you get there.
I've made mistakes in a small town. I've also done it in a big town.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, yeah.